for your willingness to participate in this event, and I'm very excited about the results so far. I know it's only 1 week in, and we have 3 more weeks to go, but the results have been amazing. It's exciting to look at the numbers on a daily basis and to see what you guys are accomplishing. So another thing, I would love to say thank you very much to Sarah St. Rousseau and what she's done in preparation for this entire event. Without her, we could never have gotten this thing off the ground. So, thank you for that.
Thank you.
Before we get Tony on the phone, on the call, I wanted to ask everyone if they could give us 5 ahas. So we'll go, anybody can chip in, we'll do 5 of them. And then as soon as we get through our 5 ahas, then we'll ask Tony to start with the call. So anybody want to go?
Lisa, sure, I'll go. Dale Snyder.
He's distant. Yes, this is me.
Maria Gutierrez. New Jersey. Taniqua Boyd, New Jersey.
Lance, I don't know if you can hear me. This is Sarah.
Yep, I can hear you.
Okay. One aha that our TLG Top Guns had, especially as 3 of them are brand new to the industry. We talked about it today. And it is growing them in ways that they never thought possible prior to this challenge. And even joining the team, they never would have thought about going into a public place like a restaurant or a Starbucks and started talking to strangers about real estate. And this week they've done it twice already. So that was a big aha for them.
That's awesome. Okay, who would like to go second?
I'll go second. This
okay.
Is Alan from Bellingham. For me, the biggest aha been just getting loosen the fear of making the phone call. You know, not feeling like I'm interrupting people and just getting it done. It's like I hear in the office, coming from a place of value, you know, where we do have something to offer and they do want to talk to us or they need to talk to us. So just having that internal feeling like that on the inside before I make a phone call has really helped a lot.
That's awesome. Thank you very much. Who would like to go third?
This is Ryan in Connecticut.
Okay.
Just to add on the, you know, coming from a place of value, basically, you know, if I go into things looking to get a listing or looking to get a contact, I'm not going to find what I'm looking for. But if I'm looking to be of service, I'm going to, you know, get a lot farther.
I 100% agree. Everything to be solution-based. That's great. Who would like to be number 4?
I'd like to go. My name. This is Helen from Maine.
Okay.
I called on a lot of businesses on Monday, going in and out of businesses. There was a cruise ship that was in town, so the streets were flooded with people. I met people from all over the place. And I walked into a Marriott hotel and introduced myself and laid out my card to the receptionist and asked who he knew looking to buy, sell, or invest in real estate. And he replied, I do, my sister does, and so does my cousin. So that was cool.
Wow.
Wow.
Yeah.
That is awesome. Okay, let's have one more.
This is Stacy from Philly Living, and
okay.
I realized that not every day is the same. So I've talked, and I posted today about it. You know, some agents are discouraged on one day, and then the next day, you know, amazing things happen. So as I said, you know, the only time a single day result matters is when it's the only day. So if we at it, we're going to have amazing days.
I completely agree. That's awesome. Thank you very much for your aha. Tony, are you on the call?
Yes, I am.
Okay, awesome. Everybody, I'd love to introduce Tony Dicello, one of the top coaches in the world, and it is such a huge honor to have him participate in today's call. So go ahead and lead the way, Tony.
Okay, great. So you've given a few ahas.
You want to hear the quote, David?
How do we mute the line?
You want to hear the quote?
Sarah, can you mute everybody except for Tony?
I'm not sure I know how to do that. If we can ask everybody to please mute their phones.
Yeah, that would be great. If everybody could just mute, we can probably get a lot more accomplished. So
Yep.
you've given Lance some of your ahas. Let's look at it and think. Based on your first week, would anybody do anything different than you did in the first week?
Does anybody have any feedback?
Yeah. So what adjustments will you be making in the second week? Anybody?
More preparation.
Okay.
Yeah, more
fine.
preparation for
That's
sure.
a great point. More preparation. Well, give me an example of some things you would do to prepare more.
I think just spending more time preparing, preparing lists, having things just right, so I could just start the day, so I hit the ground running basically every day, instead of going on the auto dialer and just hammering a ton of leads, maybe looking for something a little bit more quality or, something face to face actually. I think
Right.
I've had the most success.
There you go. That's a great point, because that's one of the things I wanted to talk about is, are you properly prepared? And we have to be prepared physically, which is the list. What else do we have to be preparing for? What other key terms?
I think you have to prepare your entire week for your clients that you're already working with as well. Being able to work around doing all of this. I know myself, I'm Jack Robertson from Maryland. I also cover Pennsylvania. And Monday, I went out and I went belly to belly with 100 people, and it took me 12 hours. Because you could go to 300 houses, but you might only, you know what I mean? So it took, after that day, I was totally wiped out. And I thought, how on earth can I completely do this every single day? And then, I had 3 listings this week. I had a settlement today. Trying to fit all of that in around meeting 40 people a day. It can take you 6 hours to actually run into 40 people.
Yeah. Sarah, is there any way you can find a hold? There you go. Thank you. So, Jack, that's a great point. I want to stay on a couple of these points, because these are some of the places I wanted to go. So, for everybody, was this a mental challenge for most of you on this phone? Yes or no?
Yes.
Yes. There are a lot of
Yes.
It is. Yes, and yes, and maybe yes, and yes. Again, it is for everyone. This is a mental challenge. This is a mental challenge, and I love the fact that you took 12 hours. You know why I love the fact, Jack, that you took 12 hours?
Why is that?
Because you didn't get into the game of contactitis. In other words, you made 100 contacts looking for an appointment. Would you agree with that?
I would. I actually had 5 people wanting to talk to a lender, and I had probably 7 or 8 that are looking to list their properties within the next 6 months. But then the very next day, one got out of my sales after a lender talked to 4 people, and they were not qualified. Okay. And then you go back out there, and I switched from Pennsylvania to Maryland, and when I did, no one in Maryland wanted to talk to you, like they're closing the door, not answering it, and that really threw me. And
Yeah, but see,
just having things ready for every day.
Yeah. And the thing we have to do is, let's stay with the number of contacts. That Monday day, the thing you have to battle, the biggest battle you guys are going to have is getting past, once you hit 50 or 60 contacts, then the game becomes, what, appointments, finding appointments, or just getting through the dang calls?
I think the first week for me, it was getting through. I knew I had to make that number, and once I got to a certain number and I could see the finish line, it became a lot easier. Then it was like I really went after it. When I got down to 18 people left, I'm like, I'm not going home until I talk to 18 people.
Perfect. Great. So the thing you have to watch and you're on the Mondays, the 45 contacts a day, that's not a big day. That's for some people it'll be a big day. You will grow into those 45 contacts a day. 45, isn't it, Lance?
It's 40.
Am I correct? 40 contacts.
40 every day.
Okay.
Hey, everybody, once again, can you guys use your phones unless you're talking? Because we're hearing lots of air and stuff. So
Yeah.
if Tony can just talk, everybody else mute.
Yeah. Okay, so the big thing on the Mondays for everybody is watch the contactitis. And Jack, if you could unmute yourself, because I'm going to stay with you for a minute, if that's okay. You have to watch the contactitis. What contactitis is, I'm making 50 calls with the goal of setting an appointment. I'm getting to 55, and I'm looking at the clock going, holy moly, I am only halfway done, and it's already 3 o'clock in the afternoon. And so now it is, hi, this is Tony Dicello with Keller Williams, and then your mind's going, please don't be a lead, just hang up as fast as you can, because I can get the contact out of the way. And then you go, and then when you get to that 55 or 60, you're going to go, okay, please, nobody be a lead, just let me get through my contacts as fast as I can. And then it takes, then like you said, the last 10 or 15 may be good, they may not be good. It may be the last 50, 40, 50, 30 are just to get through and make sure I get my 100 contacts. Please don't waste your time doing that then. You're better off not doing the contacts, because what happens when you do the last 30, your goal is to get through them as fast as you can. Where's your mindset about getting an appointment, and then you don't get an appointment in 30 and 40 contacts, then you start questioning the value of the whole game.
Yes, I think I did really well on Monday because I cleared my entire day. I wasn't answering the phone for anybody that I was working with. I wasn't doing anything else. But then when Tuesday hit, I did terrible.
Right.
Because I was exhausted from the day before, plus then I had all kinds of stuff going on to finish my week out with the customers I already had. And then, like you're saying, you get to 3 o'clock in the afternoon, you're like, oh my God, I've only talked to 4 people. And then you start to panic. Because then it's all about the numbers and trying to get the numbers, not the quality. Whereas Monday, there were some people, I was invited into a guy's house, he was cooking dinner, and I sat at the table and talked to him. And I took the time for that, and I still reached 100. But then Tuesday, I struggled, I couldn't even get to 40.
Right. Yep.
Because my day got in the way, and you lose time. And if you don't do it first thing in the morning and go until you hit 40, you're not going to do it.
That's exactly right. Yeah, you can do it, but your odds are, the odds are definitely not in your favor. So what the whole process of this game is to really understand what it's like to really do big numbers. Now, here's an important aspect. Is real estate an advanced business? In other words, what you did on Monday, which was the 6th of June, okay, really was for business when?
Q4.
Yeah, September 6th. Yeah, September 6th, 90 days out. This business is a 90-day lag business. So for everybody, Jack, what you were really doing is you're going to probably not find many leads for June. You may find few for July. You'll find more for August, and then this will really set you up for September. Because the fact of this business is it's changed over the years, and technology has changed the business. Because right now, do you find more leads than you do immediate business? Is your business?
I don't think so.
Go ahead.
It's difficult for me to tell. I just came back into this new home sales, and like I prospect every week. This week, I felt so terrible about yesterday and today. Well, yesterday and the day before, that I actually went and I reverted back to what I typically would do in prospecting each week. And I usually go to up to 300 houses a week, just walking door to door. But not everybody's home. Yesterday and the day before, I did 400 door hangers, walking face-to-face to houses, but people just, I couldn't even hit 40 each day. I was doing something different. I wasn't going out there just to meet them. I was going out there to And I don't know what makes better sense to blanket an area of 400 in 2 days or to talk to 40 people a day. I'm trying to figure that out.
Yeah, yeah, and those are the kind of things we'll look at. So as you're doing this work, we want to make sure that we're really working off of the write this down. You're working off the accumulation effect. You're working off the accumulation effect, and what that means is you do 100 on Monday, you do 40 a day. You do 100 on Monday, and you do 40 a day. You do 100 on Monday, you do 40 a day. You do that 4 times. And you start collecting names, you start collecting leads, and in the vernacular of Keller Williams, we're actually going to be collecting nurtures, and then we nurture them to an appointment. That's why this business has always been a 90-day business. What you do, the results usually show up 90 days from now. So I think, one, we have to mentally be prepared, we have to physically be prepared, and we have to watch ourselves on that Monday. And then, you brought up a great point. I'm so tired from Monday. Tuesday doesn't turn out to be a great day. So the thing about it is, when you get on the phone, the main focus has to be, number one, you're looking for everybody. Number one, you're looking for an appointment. That's right. That's the first thing you're looking for is an appointment. Number two, you're looking for a lead. And you're looking for a lead based on the value of your, the quantity of your business. In other words, when you're looking for a lead, if you're doing 50 deals a year, how many are you doing a month?
5.
4 to 5, yeah. 50 deals would be 4, would be slightly more than 4 a month, or basically 1 a week. So when you're looking for business, one of the things you're looking for is a lead that will buy in the next, or sell in the next 7 days. Now, when you're doing 200 deals a year, that's how many a month? That's 17, roughly it's 16.6, so it's 17 deals a month divided by 4 is now you're looking for a lead that will buy, 4 leads that will buy in a week, or now you're looking for a lead how often? Basically 1.5 a day. So what you're looking, when the bigger your business is, the more leads you have to create, the more important this game becomes of looking for business. And a lot of times you can't go from 50 to 100 until you build what?
Database.
You have to build a pipeline or a database that can take you from getting 1 lead a week that can close to 4 leads a week that can close. Therefore, you got to have a pipeline or a database and a bunch of nurturers that will throw out a certain number of leads per week so you can hit your transaction goal. Now, as you build go ahead.
I think my issue that I'm finding is coming back into the resale side. My database is not that much. And where I came from, it was retirement. People are buying to die there. So what I found on Monday is I went belly to belly with people trying to get absolutely brand new business. And I did, do some repeat or, business from before.
Right.
But I don't have people to sit down and call on the phone. And so I panicked thinking, oh my gosh, I have to go to all these people's houses. And to do that every day in the area I want to work in, it's like an 1.5 hour drive for me to get to the area I want to work in.
Wow.
Versus, so it's 3 hours on the road every day.
Yep.
That's lost.
Yeah.
And then you're out and about.
Right. So in that case, you'd have to make sure you have lists of people you can do what while you're driving 1.5 hours.
Right, but I need phone numbers. That's something I don't know.
Yeah, and an assistant.
And I don't know where to go. Maybe someone can say on this conference call where to go to get phone numbers. I don't know.
Expired.
Everyone has cell phones and things like that now.
Yeah, you can go to title companies, you can go to public records, you can buy lists. A lot of people are building databases.
But then,
Go ahead.
what I'm finding with that is, like, when you go, because I do expireds every day, usually too, and when you pull them up, that's time consuming to find the
Right.
person's number, then you got to check the do not call list, and that can take you 3 hours right there
Right. Yep.
before you even get your day started.
So then,
Jack, I would look into Cold Realty
Diana,
Resource.
yeah. Go ahead.
Diana Kokoska required one of her, or several of her employees to create a database from A to Z of vendors and people that you know. So starting at A, it would be, an artist, or going down to D, you get a dentist. And so you create a network of professionals that are sending referrals to one another and utilizing or leveraging your connections that way.
Yep. And the other thing too is time to look for help. So, that's the other thing you'd have to do is start leveraging. You don't want to do those activities because they don't pay enough. Remember, when you're doing admin work, you're making the salary of a what? Admin person. So if your admin in your community gets paid $20 an hour and you're doing their job, you're getting paid $20 an hour. So as you look at this, that's what you have to start looking at is one of the goals of this process, depending on where you are in your business, may be looking for immediate business, and it also may be building your database. One of the guys that started this whole idea is a fellow that he has 30 people on his team calling 3 hours a day, 3 hours a day, 30 people. That's 90 hours, making 10 contacts an hour. They're touching 900 people a day, and they're picking up a certain number of databases. And then what Gary is saying, we have to build big databases. And now what's happening is people are building databases of 30 or 40 or 50. This guy that does that, they got a database of 195,000 people. Now, can you do a lot of business when you got a pipeline of 195,000 people? Yes or no? So that's the thing you have to look at. That's a 1,900 unit business. Lance, your goal is to be at how big of a database?
We want to be at 100,000 by the end of the year, and we want to be at 1 million within the next 2 years.
Right. So 100,000 people in the database. So this is doing two things. It's helping you find appointments. It's helping you build a database. Preparation, you've got to have the numbers in advance. And somebody said you really almost need to have the numbers prepared a week in advance. And I would say the people that have the greatest success in this program are the people that have as much done in advance as you possibly can. So over the weekend or on a Friday, get your admin teams to really go ahead and get as many of these numbers prepared for you as you possibly can. And then the other thing to look at is somebody mentioned businesses. What's the advantages of working with your allied resources?
You get to use their database.
You can use their database. Therefore, are they good for one deal a year, or could they be good for 10 or 15 deals a year?
10 or 15.
Yeah. So one thing that Lance and I talked about a little bit before the call was, how do you get away from the onesies? In other words, how do you find business that can give you multiple deals? Gary said, about 2 years ago in one of his mastermind groups, he said, why don't you find 25 people that could give you 5 closings a year? That would be how many closings? 25 times 5.
125.
That'd be 125 closings talking to 25 people a year. Well, you'd probably they're giving you that many business, you're probably talking to a monthly. So you're making 25 people, you're calling them every month. That would be, 100 be 75 every quarter. So you're going to talk to 300 people, you're going to have 300 contacts and do 125 closings.
There's no way anybody can handle that on their own.
Yeah. Well, the thing of it is, if you go to Gary's model, when do you hire your first admin? On your way, when you're doing 3 or 4 closings a month, you've got an admin. By the time you're doing 4, 5, 6, 7 closings a month, you got 2 admins. And by the time
I'm on a
you get
team
to
now
that
that actually supplies. I'm on a team now that supplies admin for you, so I'm not looking to build my own team.
Yeah.
So maybe I'm not in the right area. I don't know.
Yeah, well, it doesn't make a difference. The whole goal of this is to go create business. The whole goal of the game is to create business. Now, however your structure is that you can get your business covered doesn't make any difference. All I'm saying is, why talk to 1,000 people to get 125 closings when you can talk to 25 people and get 125 closings? All we're saying is, what is your game for leveraging your lead generation? You know, so that's one point. The other point is, we go out and do things like a lot of my clients used to do elephant hunting days. What was elephant hunting days? Elephant hunting days were days where you went out and maybe you called that day. You only called houses over 750,000 or houses over $1 million. Or you went out and talked to builders where you could get Lance, you know, some of your builders will give you, what, 200-300 deals a year?
Oh, absolutely, yes.
Yeah. So why not take a day and go talk to builders, even if they're only building 25 houses a year? 10 people that are building 25 houses a year, or even 5 people, now you're back to the 125 closings. Now you're meeting with a builder. So you can elephant hunt on big deals, big prices. You can elephant hunt with multiple deals. Go build relationships on that elephant hunting day with people that can give you business every month, and then you'd have a contact with them every month. A carpet, a carpet dealer, a plumber, whatever businesses you're dealing with that relate to real estate. You can start building those relationships so that you are elephant hunting, or basically it's how do you find multiple deals from one contact. So we talked about building that idea for the business. So there's a variety of things you can be doing on these elephant hunting days to really get this thing laid out. So anyway, I think that's the thing we're looking at is what can you do to get more than one deal? Lance, what are some of the things you're doing to get multiple deals other than the builders? Are you doing anything else that you'd want to pass on to everybody?
So this morning, a few of the people went to Starbucks and hung out there for half an hour and met 20 contacts each. And then there was another person that went to a grocery store and went through the grocery store and met people there. They went into a couple of restaurants and talked to people as they were going in and out of the restaurant. And I was making the suggestion earlier this week, why don't you go to a dog park and just take your dog along, and you're accomplishing 2 tasks at once. So things like that. You're always trying to think outside the box.
Right. So you're looking for ways to get multiple deals and kind of work in that direction. So all we're looking at is how do you leverage the game you're playing? But the real key to the game is what? What do you think the game we're playing is going to help you build what word?
Database.
Database? Yep. What else?
Momentum.
Excellent.
Momentum through what word?
Income.
Income. Momentum through consistency. The real big thing eventually, well, according to the one thing, according to Gary, we start with a discipline. The discipline is 100 contacts on Monday, 40 on Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. We do that for a while. That discipline turns into a habit. and then the habit turns into something you don't miss. One of the guys that was part of the game, I don't know if Jeff is still part of this game on this time, Lance, but go ahead.
Jeff is on.
Okay, great. So Jeff, and I don't know if he's on or his team is on, Jeff hasn't missed a day of lead generation since January 2nd, 2000. He hasn't missed a day in going on 16 years. That consistency ensures what kind of a business, big or small?
Big.
Big. That consistency is guaranteed you a big business. And that's one of the things we're wanting to do with this game is you do this for a week, and you do it for 2 weeks, and you do it for a month. And Lance said, no, let's do it again. And so we can do it again, so we can do it again, so we can do it again. And then you get to the point where lead generation becomes habitual, and you'll feel the days will not feel correct unless you get your lead generation and your lead follow-up in. And that's another thing I really want to talk about. Be careful in this process. If you're creating lots of leads and you're not getting back to your lead follow-up, switch your calling to your lead follow-up. Don't create a whole bunch of leads and neglect your leads that you're supposed to be following up on. So, and I've even had my coaching clients stop lead generating until they get caught up on their lead follow-up. Because there's no sense. Go ahead.
Tony, it's Lance. I'll make a comment about that. Back when we did this contest in April, we were in the mid-60s at the end of the contest for listing agreements. A month later, we were at 99 listing agreements because of the follow-up that happened.
Right. Yeah, so that's a great point. So the thing of it is, as you're talking to these people and you start building this process, don't let your lead conversion or lead follow-up get neglected. Lance, how long do we go on these calls? I'm sorry.
Oh, as long as you're willing to go.
Okay.
It's 30 to 45 minutes.
Okay, great. Yeah, I just got a couple other things, and then I'll let everybody go. So the thing we're looking at is be sure as you prepare, be sure you're looking at your lead follow-up that you're supposed to be doing and make your lead follow-up part of your lead generation. Because Gary is saying to his group that basically lead generation and lead follow-up are one and the same. Because if you're lead generating and not doing lead follow-up, that's not a good model. And if you don't do any lead generation, you don't need to worry about lead follow-up. So he is saying we have to lead follow-up, lead generate, lead follow-up. So be very, very careful. You're not creating a whole lot of leads and then neglecting them, or you're not neglecting some of your old leads that you need to be following up on. So if you get to the point you start studying your business and getting prepared for next week and find out that you're 50 or 75 behind on lead follow-up, then Monday, make your lead follow-ups your first part of your calling, and then go back into the lead generation.
Right.
And I want you to be, I don't want us to believe that this is all about lead generation. This is about making contacts, looking for people to do business with. That's all this game is about. And if you can get that out of your nurtures or your lead follow-up or your database, or as Gary's now calling it, your community, do whatever you need to do. So be careful about getting behind on your lead follow-up because you're going to burn leads. And you have to remember this. A lot of your leads are not only in your database, they're in somebody else's database. And the winner is the person that does the best lead follow-up and stays on them with the lead follow-up. And when you're putting these people in your database, see if you can find their win, W-H-E-N, when they're going to do something. And don't give up on searching for that win too easily. In other words, what I mean by that is, when do you think you're going to do something? Well, I'm not really sure. So, are you thinking of this year or next year? Well, probably next year. Early next year, late next year. Well, we're really not sure. Would you do it closer to January or closer to December? We do it closer to January or February, maybe March, okay? So would it be closer to January or closer to March? Don't be afraid to help them make the decision. Sometimes they don't know, and once you start clarifying their decision, it turns out to be a lot sooner than they had thought. But nobody ever sat down with them and said, let's think this thing through. When do you want to do something? So if you or people on your team, March, the things we've been reading in the newspaper, we may want to do something in November because it may be a better time for interest rates. Well, great. So now are you thinking you may want to do something before Christmas or before Thanksgiving? And but we have to stay with the call. Don't give up on a win just because they don't know. Keep asking questions to probe that aspect. And then the other thing in that area, everybody write this down, and then everybody in your team should have this philosophy: never take a no. Never take a no when a yes is still possible. Never take a no when a yes is still possible.
We have a question.
Yes.
Well, what question are you asking to keep the conversation going to get that yes instead of taking the no?
Okay. So if you think about questioning, once you open the door to a question, where do you think the next question would come from?
The answer they gave.
Say that again?
The answer they gave.
That's exactly right. The answer they gave. So that means we have to be what when we're doing our calls? Listening very carefully to what they say. So an example would be, when are you thinking of buying a home? Well, we don't know. Okay, what would the next question be?
What would have to
Whoever
change?
asked that question. Pardon?
Maybe, what would have to change to make you want to buy a home?
Well, no, they don't know when they want to buy.
They don't know when. Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
What are some factors that would help you? What are some factors that would help you understand that more clearly?
There you go. Okay, and I say, well, we're just not really sure whether we can qualify.
So on,
Okay, well, that's a great question.
Go ahead, say what you want.
That's
Well,
a great question.
Yeah, right.
And then you go, that's a great question. So, hi, Tony, it's Debbie Hanger. Hi. And you went, hey, that's a great question, Tony. I'd like to answer that for you. We have partners that we partner up with, and I could get somebody, to give you a call and let you know what exactly you can afford or what you'd like to spend on your next house. When can I get in touch with you? Can I get them to call you? Is it all right if they give you a call today about 5 o'clock?
Right, yeah. So that's one way of handling it, because we can now just get them pre-qualified. You were going to ask another question. Go ahead.
Well, I guess maybe I was more directing it towards sellers. Like, I've been calling a lot of past cancels recently, and I'm getting them on the phone. They're willing to engage with me, but they're basically just saying, I'm not looking to sell right now, and they're trying to cut the conversation off. And so I'm trying to look at, how do I keep that conversation going to find out,
So role play that with me. So role play that with me. So you don't want. So what you're saying is you don't want to sell. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. When you first you're happy. So I'm a little confused. When you first put it on the market, what were you selling your house? For what reason were you selling your house?
We had a job reload, but that fell through.
That job fell through. Great. Are you still looking for a job?
No, we're sticking put now.
Okay, you're going to stay put where you are. So are you looking, well, there's anything in your future that may bring up a move that you would leave this house?
Possibly retirement. downsizing.
So, and how close are you to retirement? Are you a year away, 5 years away, 10 years away?
5 years.
So you're looking to retire in 5 years. Where will you be going when you retire?
Arizona.
So, and where are you now? Because I don't know.
Seattle, Washington.
Okay, so you're looking to move from Seattle to Phoenix.
Yeah.
Great. And so you're going to work for the next five years and then make that move. Is that correct?
That's what we're thinking, yes.
Great.
More sense.
So 5 years from now would be approximately 2021. Will you be moving early in 2021? Will you be retiring, or are you retiring at the end of 2021?
I'm not sure.
Not sure? So when will you be able to retire under your company's guidelines for retirement?
4.5 years.
4.5 years. Great. So you gave me all the questions.
Yeah.
Did you see that? You gave me all the questions.
Well, I definitely liked your initial question on what was your motivation when you initially. I think that's a great opening for sure. I mean, your follow-up questions, yeah, those are definitely ones that I've been going into. But that initial one, that's a great hook. So I do like.
Yeah. They put it on the market at one time. What are they doing? So those are some of the things we could do. Lance, we got about 2 minutes left. The only last thing I want to get across is this: you are taking on a big challenge, and I just want to encourage you. You're going to have days where you're going to say, "This is the dumbest thing I've ever done in my entire life," and I just want you to encourage you to stay with it. And even if you don't hit the 40 and you come close to the 40, I want you to know the end result of this process is you're going to build a habit that will make you guys a fortune. Because one thing, you keep doing these calls, I'm going to tell you, you will start getting better at your scripts and dialogues. I mean, these are live role plays. So you're going to get better at your scripts and dialogues. You're going to get better at your organization. You're going to get better at your calling. You're going to get better at the time between calls. You're going to get better at everything. Agree or disagree, Lance, based on you were one of the 4 people that kind of invented this idea?
100% agree. It has been a massive game changer for us.
Right. See, you guys are playing a game that was played in different arenas. The 90 and 90. People that did the 90 listings in 90 days, they said the same thing. The first guy that did it, Craig Rieger, at the end of 30 days, he said, I'm going to need an ambulance to follow me around because I'm going to drop dead somewhere in this process. And it was huge for them, but it changed their business. This idea is huge. It's not going to be easy. And when you do it, you're going to you'll start gaining so much skill, you'll start gaining so much habitual stuff, your team will get better, you'll get better at everything you do. The most important part is, once you do it, keep doing it. Even if it drops back to 25 or 30 contacts a day, and you do 50 on Monday. Because Gary's model is consistency over time. Does anybody know Gary's little statement? Consistency over time beats what? Anybody know? Talent every time. So you build consistency in what you're doing, and when the market shifts, guess what you will have? You'll have a big database and a wonderful habit that will drive you through the market shift. And remember what Gary said, when in a market, when it shifts, what you gain, anybody remember from last time, what you gain, you never what? What you gain, you never lose.
Yeah.
And what you lose, you never get back. So this is preparing you. You guys are going to be the most prepared realtors in the world for the shift by sticking this puppy out. And I know there are days, and there's going to be minutes and seconds and everything else when you're going to go, no, not only no, I'm sorry, Mo, hell no. This is a dumb game. Stay with it. do, even if it's not the 40, get it in to start building the habitual habits of creating leads and following up on leads. So, Lance, I hope this helped in some way for everybody to stay focused and stay motivated. I'm so proud of you guys taking this on. My buttons are popping because there's only a few of you in this whole company of 131,000 agents that are taking this on. Congratulations.
Thank you so much, Tony, for taking the time to do this. This was awesome. Thank you.
Great. My pleasure. Talk to you guys soon. Good luck.
Thank
Keep it
you,
up.
Tony.
Thanks.
Okay,
Appreciate
bye-bye.
it very much.
Okay, bye-bye.
For me.